Blame it on me. You're just too scared to be lonely. No one's safe from the reaper. Not a saint nor a sinner. Rage under my skin, slowly descend into madness. Let it spread like a virus. Be a friend with the violence. Help, there's blood on my hands. Somebody save me from myself. I'm off of the meds and it might get hideous. Why so serious? Run for your life cause it might get hideous. Why so serious? Change, can you swear some? Never mind, I forgot where I came from. Like wolves in the darkness, we've adapted to blindness. Fall asleep with the sirens out. There's blood on my hands. Somebody save me from myself. I'm off of the meds and it might get hideous. Why so serious? Run for your life cause it might get hideous. Why so serious? Run for your life cause it might get hideous. Why so serious?
All right. Good morning. Running a little behind. Had a small emergency that popped up, but we took care of things. So, where were we? I did a little bit of goofing around just to see like what I could crunch out with an event system. Right now, everything coding-wise is all theoretical, right? We are getting very close to that part where we will take things from just the code and try to manifest it on the editor. For those that are curious, I guess, the specific title for, or if you find stuff like this particular branch of game dev interesting, the specific title for it, I believe, is a tools engineer or something like that. It's basically the guy who is tasked with creating up the tools that the team is going to be using. Normally, solo devs, we have to do this ourselves. So that's the thing, and there's always a significant difference between the tool guy and just the solo dev creating the tools for ourselves. but yeah, this is actually something that you have one specific guy that just does this thing, and other things, but lots of documentation as well. So let's start throwing pen to paper on this. So we did create. So what is the benefit of the system that I was just messing around with? On YouTube, you're going to find a lot of. Hold on. Hey, good morning, Nepal. Currency slots. Yep, tools programmer. I read that in books ages ago. Yep. So, good morning, by the way. The benefit of the system that I just started working on, and hopefully we'll be able to test it out today, is to, how do I put this? So you have a lot of YouTube videos going back 2 years now, I think. Like, it was going back a little bit further. There was like this whole tech gala about it, I think in 2017, and then it just started cropping up scriptable objects. So we use scriptable objects for everything. Yeah, scriptable objects have their uses. Personally, for this branch of what I'm about to do, I never did it because it led, when I initially followed the designs that I saw other people saying they should use, it led into what I call drag and drop hell, where you're basically just creating SOs and dropping them everywhere. It was painful, especially for a programmer. We don't need to drag SOs everywhere. And with that in mind, if you understand programming, you don't need event SOs everywhere for in this case, right? But you still want to make it available for your artists and so on. Maybe they have a different perspective because they don't code. So I struggled a little bit. It's always been on like the back of my mind. How do I find the middle ground here, right? And so I think this system is working towards that middle ground. I haven't seen anyone else do this, so maybe this is something that folks can just grab onto. But the idea will be, one second. Yeah, there we go. The idea will be that we will be able to compose effects through effect actions. And those effect actions will be driven, in some cases, by the events that we drag and drop on them. Now, in the past, you've probably seen the previous version of this that I did. I used enums to get the same effect. We're not going to use enums this time. We can consider this a... this is one of those cases where we can easily exchange an enum for a scriptable object. In fact, as a rule of thumb, it is... I mean, I don't want to add complexity to the idea here, but if you can use an enum, odds are you could use a scriptable object to do the same thing and better, right? It's just the amount of boilerplate you're willing to deal with. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so we have here, actually, this was an issue I just noticed, but I decided to leave it for when I came on stream so I could show like how to deal with them. So we have here game events, and if you recall yesterday, this is an existing project, obviously. So yesterday I made this class also. Well, we can actually find it here. So this is the other class that I had made. Right? So this class cannot exist at the same time as the other class. So to get around this, what I'm going to do is use a namespace. So we can go here. And we can go... Oh, let's get rid of this stuff. You know, should I do the whole thing on namespace? No. Because then we'd have to do... Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's do the whole thing under namespace. Alright, and then all we have to do now is just grab all of this wonderful, wonderful theoretical code, and... oh, I changed game time a little bit. I'll show it in a second, since yesterday. Scrolling. Okay, there we go. And we can just drop it here. Right, this is going to break something in another place, I believe, over here. Oh, Nepal, I'll help you out. Give me a second. Don't tell Nick I did this for you. There you go. Have fun. There you go. Now, because Nick is like a multi-millionaire, and he got it all through his nefarious means. Oh no, I was talking about the stars. There you go. Okay, let's get back to it. So now you're going to see that this doesn't work anymore. So we're just going to throw all of this under the same namespace. Now, we don't need to actually do this, right? When we created the namespace, we could just do something like this. And it will start working again. But we want to lock all of these under the same namespace, just for organization. Okay, there we go. Because we're going to be creating essentially a parallel data structure as we phase out the previous data structure, or parts of it anyway. There we go. Okay, good. So these don't exist anymore. So this was just like me testing things out yesterday to see how the API would look like. I'm really satisfied with this. So I guess, Nepal, if you're here, do you want me to go over the event system that I wrote before, or do you want me to just go straight into the effects, in effect, action blueprints and stuff like that? Is one more interesting to you than the other? Okay. Alright, let's move this down to the bottom. This will be the final part of the explanation, really. So just, we could do something like this now. Event key. Oh, we don't need this. This is from my previous... Do we need this? We don't need this. Because we have this right here. So this is useless to us now. What we actually want is... How about, we're just gonna make a couple of these real quick. Let's call this... Yeah, I think, what else can we do? Probably... what other... So, yeah, basically, like, this is what we need. Oh, like... For ability. That's fine. Okay, this is just to show, like, this. Nice. Okay, that should do it. What other errors do we have? Oh, this we have to get rid of. Game event contacts. So this is... Alright, okay, there we go. Beautiful. One last one. This one. Alright, so let's look first. Yeah, okay. So let's look at... So let's do a small recap on game asset, because that's kind of important for explaining how the game event system is going to work. Recall yesterday, we implemented the asset locator system, which works through game asset. Game asset, effectively what it does is that it will compute an address, unique and determinative, to the information that is related to this specific asset. So once this asset is made in Unity, it comes up with a path. We use that path to crunch out a, I believe it's a long number that is determinative to the string result that we get back from the path. we use that long number as a key in a dictionary over here that we generate at runtime. So when we start the game, it will then populate this, which is now our lookup table for all the assets in our project that are game assets, or marked under game asset. Alright, so that's very quickly, that's basically what it's doing. And so our game event system inherits that asset lookup system. This means that once we actually implement this properly, in other words, when I make the build path for it to just execute properly, we should be able to do something like this, I guess. Like that, yeah. Right? So we should be able to generate something like this. Or pass in additional information, whatever we want. Right? And it will then propagate events. But these events, now this is what makes this system really interesting. These events are not global event calls. They're event calls that are going to a 0-1 lookup table that we're going to go over in a second, called game events, plural. And effectively what that does is that it targets specific things that want to listen for when an event, that specific event from that specific sender is sent. This is a little bit, again, different than using global events the normal way that you would want to use them. So let's go into how we took care of that. First, you're going to notice that we have our little invoke right here, which is the exact method that you just saw me type out here. This is what we're actually reaching here. So here we would need to pass in, you could see we have two options for invoke. So there's two overloads here. We could pass in this, and let's move this over here. Okay, there we go. So this isn't actually in yet. We have to make these events first, like in the project, as scriptable objects before this will work. But it will work fine because we're going to create all of these events, hopefully to later this session. But the idea remains, we'll be able to reach this. Let me get rid of this part so we can just type it out proper, so you can see it, the call. And actually, we're skipping ahead. That's the ending. So this is just to show like what how this is set up. So you'll see, this is one of those things that I believe I had mentioned to you before, Nepal, about how Unity handled this, and it's just super weird how they did it. Basically, they made a bunch of invoke overloads. There's like 13 of them for handling all of the different types of parameters you could put in. And that to me was like always really weird. Like, why would you do that? But that's the way they wanted to do it. Instead, I've seen them in other places use params, which works just as well, and you could do the same thing. No, there's zero GC in this system. There's no garbage. There's no allocation, so there's no garbage in this system. Okay. So now what we do here is we have this fancy little method right here, which will take this object and then create a context for it. Now this is actually dealing with your question right away, unbelievably, right? Go figure. As to why this produces no garbage. Because it has an internal pooler. It will internally pool the context objects that this wants to generate. So over time, no matter how much you're producing, it will keep on producing the exact same pooler, clearing itself out. And you're going to see what I use is a create, run, and update and destroy pattern. But we avoid the destroy pattern and replace that with pooling. Here we go. So here you'll see the context, and we have our game event, or game context pool, which is a static class. We have our stack right here. We store 64 initially, but this can get to whatever size we need to. And the idea is fairly simple. We go and pop out anything from the stack that we need when we come in if we have a stack count greater than 0. Actually, hold on. Can I do this? I never tried. Yeah, we can. Try pop.
Feeling like I'm second best, someone that you could forget. Got me drinking that healing, sinking in this feeling. Leave me the time, giving me the signs of life. Making you clear that you're gonna leave me in
There we
that
go. Alright, so now basically it'll try to pop one of these game contexts out and then populate it with the information that it needs in order for it to function with whatever context we're about to give it. Otherwise, we just create a new one, and you're going to see how this happens later. But we do have a return call that will happen naturally, so we don't have to actually call it ourselves. As part of the code path within the same frame, it's going to want to return whatever it is that we just pushed, the context that we just pushed. So this means that these contexts cannot be stored, they can't be cached, right? So they're sealed classes. Right? So there's only one place that they can go to, and that's it. Okay. So there's no remote place that's going to hold these. Once they go back into the pool, they're reset, that's it. What's up? What about the lookup? Oh wait, let me see. The pool is not a lookup. The pool is it's just, all it does is just grab out of the stack. That's it. So it doesn't care what it grabs because they're all the exact same type of object. We just reset that object to basically make it have nothing inside of it and reuse it for some other purpose. That's all it is. So there is no real lookup happening. It's just grabbing the first thing. Right? If you want to say there's a lookup, it's kind of like using any. There's less than a bit of a hit.
There's a tremor in my tongue, like it's reaching for a song. If I say just one true thing, maybe the night won't feel so long. Say one thing, then breathe.
Okay, good.
Let it rise and leave. After sunset.
Oh, the pool is right here. This whole class is really it, but it's really these. This is what is handling storing the context. So these are what we're pulling.
I was taught, be strong, don't cry. Brush your teeth and close your eyes, but the dark remembers every
We're good? Okay, let's keep moving. So then we have this return. We only call it in one place, but that's because we're relying on that we only ever go through one place to make this call to invoke this anyway. So even though you see these invokes happen over here, where is it? Yeah, there you go. Even though you see these invokes happen here, this invoke is leading to a different place. It doesn't actually execute on any of the code inside of this. Well, technically it is, but let's go to that invoke so we can see what's happening. All right, it's right here. So once this invoke happens, we have a couple of lookups. First, we do a try get on the context, right? We're going to look inside of the context in a second to see what this is doing, but it's pretty much what you saw. We pass in the key that we're looking for. In this case, we're trying to get what event is it that we just tried to invoke, right? Again, this is all zero. There's no garbage being produced here. This is just a lookup. Then, so in other words, 0 GC. Then we are just looking into the dictionary here for the map, and then we try to get the sender's map. This is anything that is listening to this particular sender for this specific event, and then we try to get those listeners that care, and then for each one of those listeners, we just invoke what it is that they're trying to listen for, and then finally we return and we pass them the context, and then we just return the context back to the pool. That's the process for this. Now this requires a little bit of legwork, right? So first off, when we go into our events, you're going to see that I'm going to have like something that's going to be listening for checking if at build time we pushed in an event. If we did, then the event then our factory pattern is going to check what event we tried to, or it's not going to check, it's just going to automatically attempt to subscribe to that event, as well as unsubscribe. So we're going to have a pattern for that also. For its basically its life cycle. And you can see here how subscription happens, right? First this is inside of game events still. So this is our dictionary for handling our subscriptions. So we first off, to make this in English, our first key is this game event, right? And then after we know what game event we're looking into, we check that game event's dictionaries, and then this represents the listeners, or sorry, the invokers, the potential invokers, right? That's an important aspect of it. These are potential invokers. So that's going to come back a little bit later when we go over the cleanup process for this, because this can create memory leaks if you don't do it properly. And then we just have a list of all of the listeners that are trying to listen for this specific event from this specific user. So let's go to the cleanup real quick. Super simple. Basically, we call cleanup, and we just get any events that are tied to that user, and we just remove them. This happens, or this should happen, whenever an object is destroyed in Unity, or for some reason it's no longer something that can send an event out or wants to listen for events. So we just get rid of all things that are saying, hey, I would like you to listen for me, what I do, I would like to listen to when certain events happen with you. And that's basically the meat of it. The context itself, simple, really simple. We track the sender explicitly, but everything else is tracked inside of the dictionary here. So it's important, again, to note we only create these dictionaries once. right? Because this is all pooled. That's the reason why we pool it. We don't want to keep recreating the dictionary. We don't want to generate garbage. So instead, what we do, we just clear the dictionary out of its references whenever we're done with this object. That's part of the whole creation process for this. All right. So it gets really cool now. Oh, and we have our interface here, which needs to be implemented on all combatants or things that just can send events out, right? And because that leads into our, where is it down here? Our event sender registry, which is basically listening for when things need to be unregistered from our event pattern for the cleanup process to work. Okay. All right, so let's go over like just how interesting this can get. So there's multiple ways to deal with this, right? We can create our entire context by doing something like technically we don't have to do that, but and you can see how we can now start composing let's say like event key. Let's say 5. All right, so you can see now how we can start composing stuff together here. Right, and we can wrap this off with, oops. Oh, right, we can't make this like this anymore. So you can just do this. There you go. Right? So that's basically how our system is set up to work. And there's many other ways to handle it, but this is just like one example. Pretty cool, huh? So the coolest part about this is we can set this up from the inspector. What's the ha about? This is basically saying with this event, you can damage yourself for 5 damage, basically. Yep. It should be pretty much plain English as it's written. It should be super clear, hopefully. If it's not, then I failed as a programmer. Okay, let's see now. So, but there's other ways to handle this also, right? Like, let's say I don't want to do it this way. I could do something like this. Right, we could. This is basically the same. We forgot one. Okay, there we go. So this is basically the same thing as doing this. All right. Okay. All right. And yes, you could do this as much as you like. Like, we could go... This is what I mean, like, with the way Unity handled it, you could only do this up to 13 times. But technically, you could do this as long as you'd like, because this is just an array we're building as we're building through this invoke pattern here. Alright. So, moving on. That's our effect system. So, the final part to this is over here. The actual game event. This is it. So, the game asset has the ability for us to enter the asset's name, which is going to be used by the asset locator later. And we'll be able to basically type something like this. Properties.events. And then we type in this game event's name, so let's say it's on before attack. And once we do this, then we can do the whole... where is it? We can do this whole thing. And so on. Right? That's where I'm going with this. So now we can call events from anywhere. So our asset locator will now function as an event bus, while also just doing its regular thing as an asset locator. That's the principle behind this. All right. Okay, let's get to work. So technically, I think this is all done as far as events goes. The only thing that we need to do now is we need... Oh, game time. So I changed game time a little bit. We got rid of something here. It's fine. Alright, so we have here our regular tick. You'll notice now, instead of just waiting for an event, we're trying to register update long tick on an event based on this. We can just drop it right here. Because this is just a partial class of this. So they compile together as if they're one class. Okay. And I think I wanted this to be 1 second. This is going to be 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds we have a longer tick. Every 1 second. So let's make this 3 seconds. Right? And that should basically be it. Okay, good stuff. That was like a very small change that I made. I don't think so. I never shared it with him, so it would be really interesting if he did. He probably has his own stuff, though. Like, it's not that crazy. It's not like as if it's like only I could make it. Like, anyone could really make it. It's just when I saw what you were doing, I was like, the one thing your game could really use is just like reactions. and I think that's what was missing. So I still think you can like goof around with it a bit and get like reactions, but if you're happy with what you have now, then do you. Okay, let's. Where are we? I should. 1 second. There we go. Okay. The only thing I need is controller vibration. Yeah. I've never actually had to make one, but it's not that difficult. I recall when maybe like 3 years ago, I was looking into it, and Unity has something built in for it already. So if you can just look that up, but it's there. All right, let's get this stuff functional. The idea is that we're going to create these tools and test them today. So let's do that. Okay, so what should we start with? Okay, so this is supposed to be, I'm like looking over this to like, catch up where I left off. Let's comment these out for now. Because we're working with scriptable objects first, and then we'll get into Pocos in a second. So let's comment. So let's start at this layer, because this is where we should look. Let us see. Okay. So we just made, actually, let's move it up here so it's just easier to use, I guess. There it is. Yes, we are about to break these classes apart from the script because some of them are getting properly defined. So I look at this like my work table. So I'm like, at some point I'm going to move these out of my work table. These are really less about function. Yeah, they're not needed. Okay, good enough. Alright, let's knock this out. So we have to have our effect type here. This doesn't... none of this matters anymore. Let's just comment all of this out for now. Some of this stuff is going to come back, but for right now we're going to start from scratch on this. Ow, okay. I don't think we're going to pigeonhole ourselves out of stacking. I think we're going to keep stacking in. We can use stacks kind of like levels, and then when you reach a specific level, right, like that. Alright, so let's do this.
Watching the flames burn higher, setting my world on fire. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, risking it all on you. And I don't pretend to know how you feel. Either you won't or you will, but I'll give it a try. Even if you're too blind to see, and even if you look right through me, I never thought it would be easy. Say the words, say the words. Even if the world stops breathing and every beating heart stops beating, nothing's gonna stop this feeling. Just say the words, say the words.
Nah, we don't need this. Right? So at 1, basically, that's like level 1. So
Looking for an owner through endless days, sitting it like you owe it, like his home.
this is going to come back later.
The present ain't no razor line.
All right?
It's the ocean.
So now we can have our, let's actually put, let's put these two over here. So if we try to apply this effect again, and it's at its max stack, it will then move over to the next level. Otherwise, and it will still keep this effect around, but whatever is at the next level, we will just keep trying to apply that effect also. So like, let's say you have poison on you, and there's poison that might have 3 stacks of poison. You would be able to then apply at max it's 3 stacks, and if you get to poison 3 stacks, if you did poison again, it would implement poison 2 on top of regular poison, kind of thing, and then poison 2 would have its own stacks, and then you might have like a different type of debilitating effect. Let's say it's like neurotoxin, and it would consume stacks of poison. Like, that's what I'm kind of thinking to go with this. Now, this is Unity 6, so I think I could do this. I've been in 2022 for a little while now, so... Yeah, this is the same one. Alright, we're going to make a new class. We're going to call this... Right? And so now this is going to be where we start writing out the behavior of this effect. So this effect can live on an object. It's going to have this type. Its base duration is going to basically be this right here. Right? And whenever this stuff happens, it will, these will have their own logic on them. Including, in some cases, being able to add effects themselves. That's the idea. Okay, we're good. Yeah, okay, I think this is good. So we can get rid of most of this. I'm gonna see, hold on. What is this? We don't need that anymore. The change stuff we don't need. Effect base duration ticks. We don't need this. We do need that, but we need it differently now. Do we need it? I don't think we need it. Okay. We're good here. Right, and then from here now we need to have a factory pattern for this. So we just got, it's a simple little method. So we can do public effect, let's call it an effect instance. Sorry. Create instance. So we need to know the I effect. No, what is it called? I sender? I event sender? Sender. And I event sender. Actually, we're gonna do it like this. The host, and this is the sender. And the effect type? Nah. We don't need that. Why are we autocomplete? Doing autocomplete things. Let's make this class real quick. Yeah, so the wound system is still there. It's just tied into the critical hit system. So I'm going to work on that, but I need to get this redone. So this will be... This is like a cascade of things, but the idea is that I'm just having these ideas as I'm... Like, I initially wanted to just redo the targeting system, but then I was like, let's redo... Like, we can do better things with the effect system now than I could have back then, right? Because I was looking... There's a difference when you're inside of the the box. It's so hard to see like around. So now that I've been out of it for long enough, come back, I can get a bigger picture or clear a big picture on the project. And I think like I can do a better version of these things that will pay dividends downstream. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's the idea. Right? Like, I want to create this so this doesn't need to know about too many different things, right? Like, this right here is kind of a dependency. But I'm doing this intentionally, because I could just get away with doing something like this, and it would work just fine. But I don't want to do that. I want to kind of tie some rules to this. Right? I want to be a good... I trust myself, but I don't trust myself that much to be good about this. Anyway. You know what? Let's do it this way. This doesn't need to be abstract, because we're going to be abstracting out the behaviors. New effect. And we can pass. Yep. Okay, good stuff. Okay. We can do it like that. And we're going to create a small life cycle for these. So we're going to be making an effect manager in a second that will handle just telling it when to start and when to stop. Right? And that itself will be listening to the game object. Right, so... where are we? Yeah, we're in the instance. So let's create since we have this whole path set up now, this is just like with scaffolding, essentially. Let's... Let's do something similar for this. So these are going to create the actual effect actions now, right? And we can just do something like create runtime. Let's put this below this. I think it's a good place for it. Right, so now every single one of the blueprints will now have to implement create a runtime version of itself. So I guess we should probably make this abstract. This doesn't make sense to do it otherwise. And let's make a few up. How should we handle this? Let's do it this way. Yeah. All right, and then we're just going to have the same flow here. So we're going to have... Should we do it abstract? I think virtual is a better bet here. It feels like we're living in a dream. All right, because I think I'm going to be passing information in here, maybe. We don't really need to. I think all the information we need is here. And we're going to also need this one. And this one is going to take in an event. Game event context, CTX, equal to default. This is a class, right? So we can do null on this, I believe. Yeah, we should be fine. Okay. Yeah, taking a break did... you know what it did? It cropped up a whole bunch of ideas that just stuck on the brain, and it needed to be vented. So I was trying to find... I created the other project, feature complete, in order to just keep throwing these ideas there, so I just wouldn't forget. Like, I would spend maybe like 2-3 hours at different points in the week and just crank out some ideas on implementation, and then I just came back and I was like, okay, I'm going to take at least one weekend to try to get this into this project. Um, that's the idea. All right, so let's create some blueprints. Okay, so the easiest ones usually are like damage. So let's do public class. So with these, it's a little bit weird, right? Like I have a whole damage system. Let's see what happens. This might be a good spot to actually system serialized field. This might be a good spot to like work on our damage system. We made a damage service provider, so this might be a good spot to tweak it and get it to be more lenient, so we could use it in multiple systems instead of just abilities. We'll see. And so now here we can do this, and then we can pass in serialized field, game event. This is the game event now that it's going to listen for when this triggers. Right, and then we just need to, we need to inherit action blueprint. And here we just need to do so in this case, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have this be a source of damage. So it's going to create its own damage info and then push that out. It doesn't care what other thing was going on. That's the simplest way. So let's do that. It's not coming up. That's weird. There we go. Okay. All right.
pas glisse et caresse mes pas. La basse murmure un rythme que mes épaules prennent déjà. J'ai le cœur qui s'allume, je me sens vivant là-bas. La rue devient une piste, le monde danse avec moi. Les cuivres s'élèvent comme des éclats de sourire. Un frisson saule traverse tout ce que j'ose dire. Je laisse mes soucis fondre, je laisse mes humeurs partir. Le jazz m'emmène doucement, je peux enfin respirer. Dépasser des liens, mes ombres deviennent légères. Je flotte dans l'air chaud comme un souvenir clair. Le piano roule, ondule, trace des repères. Je me laisse emporter par ce souffle solaire. La nuit n'est plus sombre, elle se teint de bleu. Les notes tournent autour comme joyeux.
I guess we should pass in the damage and then pass in the triggering event. So now we go down here and we can just do
La contrebasse tape profonde et délicate. Elle dessine une vague douce qui m'emporte intacte. Mes mains claquent le tempo, mon sourire se décharne. C'est le genre de groove qui jamais ne s'arrête. Les saxophones glissent, vibrent comme un secret. Ils allument ton torse, réchauffent ton passé. Ton corps veut répondre, veut dire la vérité. La musique te soigne avant même d'agir assez. Je vois des visages s'ouvrir, des épaules qui oscillent. Des inconnus qui rient, des âmes qui scintillent. La magie soul jazz rend nos histoires dociles. Et chaque mouvement devient une danse subtile. Hey, la lumière du club devient un océan. Je sens chaque note glisser lentement. La chaleur traverse mon corps intensément. Je ne marche plus, je flotte dans l'instant. Danse, laisse ton âme s'envoler. Danse,
there we go.
laisse le jazz te porter. Danse.
So now it should start looking familiar to you, right? Because now that we're building this out, so you see me build something like a mock test of it below. This is where now I get to flex it a little bit. So we now know the triggering event. We've just passed it through because this is the scriptable object side. So I guess you'd have to imagine at this point. But we drop this in from the inspector for the event that we care to listen to. Then over here, we now have access to that event. And we also, by this point, would already know who we want this event to apply to. Right, which is whoever hosts the damage action. So in this case, we're going to have to create some damage information. Let's get that. Let's do it this way, actually. Let's finish the class before we start doing stuff, right? Okay. Okay, so now you'll see that I'm just overriding these calls. So in this case, we're going to check if
Baby, I'm fired up. Baby, I'm fired up. Baby, I'm fired up.
Should we create the damage info here? Let's do it here. Does it exist? Interesting. I gotta look into how I was handling this. Come with apply. So we had something called create damage. Damage info, public override. Oh, so try create combat info. Damage calculator, which then creates a damage calculator for us. That then we can do calc generate. The result is damage info. Okay, gotcha. It's a little bit of a lengthy process. But this calc.generate will generate a damage info. So we need a damage calculator first. There we go. Okay. So we could, now that we have the damage calculator here, we could... Should I make this a service, or should I... Yeah, it should be a service. Okay. What the heck? Why isn't this showing up? Do I have to make it... It's protected. It has... Oh, we forgot to do this. Got it. Okay, there we go. You gotta lost me. Why are you still crying about stuff? Oh, silly. There we go. So we need the attacker, the defender. Gotcha. So, got it. We need the attacker, the defender, and it's looking for the damage ability. Ooh, that's bad. We need to fix this up a little bit. Like the last three parts of this it's not needed anymore. Okay, so to get the attacker, we just need to do the combatant registry dot get info instance sender, yeah, identity. All right, there we go. So that's the first two parts of this calculator that needs to be set up. Right. Okay, so we need to know the damage that's done by this and the element of the thing that is pushing this through. Those are the last two things. So we can have damage and the instance dot asset element. Or what was it called? So these don't have elements. Should these effects have elements on them? I think so. So let's make them game asset info. There it is. There we go. So now we should get access to an element. There it is. Okay. So now we can check, because of this, we can check the weapon and all kinds of stuff about the attacker and the defender. And then we can go ahead and apply damage to these guys. Right? And then we can just do generate on this. For now, because we still have two references, or one reference at least, that I don't know about exactly what's going on there. I don't want to start creating exceptions needlessly. Public. We just overload this part. We can just grab this. This is a struct, though, so it's going to need stuff, but that's fine. Let's see. Why is this thing being so weird? Okay.
My wings been clipped. I feel invisible. What life is this? Let me out, get me out. My blood runs thin.
I'm just gonna make it, the effects damage based on the same calculation we use for abilities. It just makes sense to do that. So let's just, we can actually do this. And get rid of this. We don't need a reference to the ability here anymore. We do need the element, though. Okay. Right, and so now when we do a generate call, it will generate damage info for us. We haven't populated this yet. It's going to take a lot to really like think about the ways that I want to calculate the damage out of this, but the general idea is we're just going to look at the information here and crunch numbers effectively. So we could overload this. Hold on. Or rather, just make a separate one. And instead of generate here, we can do get the best of both worlds, I guess. Right, because we might want like if you're poisoned. But that's going to come down to elements. Okay, alright. Let's just do this. For now. We're going to leave it this way. Keep it simple. We do have two references, so we need to fix the other one. Probably over here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. What? This is an ability asset. Ability asset. Oh, what's going on here? It lost track of game asset. This is all under artlib, correct? Should be. Oh, it's not. That part is not, so we need to put that all under artlib. Alright, one sec. There we go. Alright. Now this should be targetable. There it is. ¿Por qué no? What is this about? Nepal, are you down for... Well, what are you doing later today? Do you have time or no? Because I only wanted to do this up until right after what I'm about to do, which is basically after I put this together. Oh, what's this? Oh, it tried to build. No, stop. After I do this, I'm going to create a scriptable object and then just test out what it looks like for the damage. That's the idea. We just need to get rid of these exceptions. And if it works, then we are on a good platform. It should work. It looks like it's going to work, but I just need to figure out why this isn't letting me target. Where are we? We're in ability asset. An ability asset should target... Oh, I see. So this should target asset info. Because each ability has... This was made before I decided on elements and stuff like that. So each ability has that. So now we can do this. Okay. Damage calculator. Element data. What? What's the difference between element data and... What is this? Element asset. What is element data? Oh, gotcha. So this is our new system, element asset. There we go. Yep, there we go. Okay. Let's see if we have... Alright. 5 exceptions. It's not terrible. Ah, right. Kids with chalk draw futures on the asphalt, dreams erase fast, blame for the world's fall. Shadows dance in the memory on replay, lost in yesterday's light reverie. The glow ain't what it seems, broken bones sparking, shattering our dreams. Cigarette smoke curls, a ghost in the air. Prayers whisper low, but no one's there. Yeah, we're probably going to be reusing the same wound data system. It's just, it's going to be... oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, so we've stabilized the game a bit. I don't know why this is next ID. Oh, we assign it but never use it. We don't need this anymore. I'm not going to take care of all of these little ones. Yeah, I'm not going to like take care of every single one of these. So the next step is we need to pluck these out of this script now, so they have their own home. Sorry. So, what needs to be plucked out exactly? You need to take out... This class absolutely has to be taken out. Cool beans. Sometimes it's good to just read the Okay, that's awesome. We don't need this. Let's close stuff that we're not really using. Okay. Let's take this out and bring this over here also. Okay. The rest are CS, or sorry, are Pocos, so it should be fine to just leave there for now. Like the blueprints and so on, right? These are just Pocos, if I remember correctly. Yeah, these are all... The real goal here is to see if they display properly on the inspector, and if they do, we are live. Because I'm 100% certain that the back end of this is working. It's just to see if the tooling side is working now. So let's do that. Yeah, give me like maybe 10 minutes, Nepal. After this test, we'll get started, brother. Next ID does not exist in this content. Why not? What are we looking at? Ah. Okay, there we go. Wait, were we using next ID? No, we're not. We just had it in clear and that was it looks like. Yeah, because we were using a hash to create this instead of next ID. I believe. What was our using? We grabbed a staple hash string. Oh, okay, so this is for the factions. Yeah. So each faction has to have its own unique name. Like, if you're going, like, if the player decides to create their own faction, it can't share the same name as some other faction. Okay. That should get rid of this. Awesome. I think so. Basically, we just need to create an. Alright, so let's do that. Where was I creating ourselves? I'm gonna create a new folder and call it prototype. Just for like stuff that we're not sure about yet. Alright, and then we can go to create. What did I name it? Game data. Right. Body parts. It looks like we have something for game data already. No idea what this is. New element? Delete. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a conflict here. So we need to resolve that first. We called it game data or game assets. I can't remember. Game data. Alright, so we're going to call this instead game asset. Don't you dare say that I want everything to fall apart when it's hard to me. Alright, and that's one of the beauties of just putting this inside of a string. You can just go to one place and it'll change everywhere else. the heck? Oh, I see. So you have to... Gotcha. For some reason, I thought it would... I get it. We are silly. So let's go and use the other benefit of having set it up this way. We can find... this. Find all references. Okay, there we go. That should fix it. There we go. So we're looking for effects. There we go. So now we can select if this effect is like a bloodline and a trait, and we can have all of these different types on it. We don't care about all of that right now. What we care about is this thing. So let's see how this plays out. If it plays nice. Nope, it's not playing nice. Oh, there it is. I just have to reopen it. So, yep, here we go. And then I can open this up, and here we go. Now I can put this damage here. Let's create a new event for, like, Unity doing Unity things. This one is going to be for... Oh, we forgot to make one for our events. Hold on a second. Should be somewhere down here, right? And actually, since these are... This needs to have its own CS file. Uh-huh. And this needs to have its own CS file. Alright, where is that event? Should be down here somewhere. Game event, here we go. Awesome. Okay. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay. So let's make this a on-hit effect. Or actually, let's make this an on-tick effect. So every tick, it will apply this effect to... No, let's make it an on-hit. if I was going to do like everything today, then it would matter, I guess, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. Game asset, events. Have our new event. 40K. What is this? Why is this looking like this? It should be inheriting game asset. Oh, it just has... Yeah, it's fine. It looks so empty, but it's not. So we would do something like on... What was it? On before... Where is it? Prototypes. Let's make this one on after damage. Alright, so now we can go here. I don't know why this thing hates. Unity's really finicky about serialized references. There we go. So now, on every time I do 1 damage, it should do damage based on that 1 damage. We also need an element here. We haven't made any, so... let's create a new... Did it save? Is it serializing properly? This can have a max stack of 5. So then we can do something like game asset. We can create a new element. Call this fire or something, I guess. And then we have our new effect. And then we can just drag our fire element. So now when we do damage with this, this will trigger damage. It'll see that this effect should have fire damage on it. And it will apply fire damage anytime this creature would have taken or would have triggered after some other damage effect happened. That's the principle of it. I hope that like he gets it clear now, like where this is going. And so now I can effectively illustrate a whole bunch of different effects going on here. Or even make one of these pass on some other effect to something else. The opportunities here are pretty wild, right? Okay, that's it. So we're gonna call it here. Nepal, we can meet up in a second. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining. Stay up, stay blessed. I hope this was useful. And it's just one of many ways to handle this kind of system. I've handled it like 3 different ways so far in all of this. But I'm really like this way. This is very, very much better. All right. If there are any questions, anyone could ask. Have a wonderful day.